What separates average students from nation-ranked top performers? It's not IQ. It's not natural talent. It's their learning system. Top students don't rely on luck. They rely on strategy. They don't study more, they study smarter. Let's break down exactly how top-ranked learners think differently, and how you can apply their methods starting today. 1. Shift from memorizing to understanding. Most students make this mistake. They highlight everything. They reread notes again and again. They cram before exams. But here's the truth: repetition without understanding equals wasted time. Top students ask, "What's the big picture? Why does this matter? How does this connect to what I already know?" They don't memorize facts, they build mental models. Instead of copying what's on the board, they reframe concepts in their own words. They create connections. They form analogies. They ask questions like, "What is this concept really saying? How would I explain this to a 10-year-old?" That's how deep learning happens. 2. Treat learning like a feedback loop. Top students don't just study and hope it works. They track their learning like scientists. Every session, they ask, "What worked well? Where did I struggle? What should I do differently next time?" They don't fear mistakes, they use them. Every error becomes data. When they get a question wrong, they don't just check the answer. They break it down. Why did I get this wrong? What was the gap in my thinking? Then they adjust their approach. Every day, they improve 1%. That's how small habits compound into big results. 3. Replace passive study with active recall. Passive methods like rereading, highlighting, or listening are low efficiency. They feel productive, but they aren't. Top students prioritize active recall, the most powerful way to build memory. They close the book and ask, "What can I remember without looking? Can I write it out from memory? Can I explain this out loud like I'm teaching someone?" They use flashcards, self-quizzes, and quick verbal summaries. This strengthens brain pathways, and builds long-term retention. 4. Use better notes, not more notes. Most students write everything down, word for word. But notes aren't about recording. They're about thinking. Top students use diagrams, concept maps, arrows to show relationships, questions to trigger understanding. Instead of writing, photosynthesis has 2 stages. They write, Q, what happens in each stage of photosynthesis? And they sketch a simple flowchart. Their notes are clean, visual, and structured for review. 5. Focus on output, not just input. Reading a textbook is input. Watching a video is input. Even copying notes is input. But output is where learning sticks. Top students practice solving problems, teaching others, rewriting from memory, summarizing complex topics in simple terms. They simulate test conditions. They put pressure on their memory. That's how they perform under pressure in real exams. 6. Build a system, not just a routine. Studying without a system is like building a house without a plan. Top students structure their learning as a loop: input, processing, output, feedback, adjust. They plan ahead. They batch similar tasks. They focus deeply. And they rest intentionally. They track time spent versus results, progress in weak topics. Long-term retention. Learning becomes measurable, adjustable, scalable. 7. Master self-awareness and motivation. Top performers don't rely on motivation alone. They design environments that reduce friction. They use tools like the Pomodoro technique, distraction blockers, morning planning, end-of-day reflections. They stay consistent even when they don't feel like it. Because they know, discipline greater than motivation. Final thoughts: if you want to study like the top 1%, don't just work harder. Work smarter. Ask better questions. Track your progress. Use active recall. Simplify your notes. And keep evolving. The results will follow. Want more strategies to learn faster and study smarter? Subscribe now. Your future self will thank you.